Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's review slash tutorial is actually going to be on the Kat Von D on her Shade in Light Glimmer Eye Palette and also the Shade in Light Eye Contour Palette. Now these two palettes, they didn't just come out. It's not something brand new, so I know it's been a while, especially the Eye and Contour palette. It's been out for a few years. The Glimmer palette did come out, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, around June, July of this year. And I just got it recently, maybe about 2 months ago. No, one month ago. And so I said, you know what? Let me do a video on both, with both palettes on one eye, since they do have, the colors are complementary to each other, except that one palette is all matte and the other one is all in shimmers. So if you would like to know how to achieve this beautiful look and my 2 cents on it and a brief review on each of the palettes, just keep on watching. So on this side, I am going to use the matte palette, which is the eye contour palette, and then on this side, I am going to use the light glimmer eye contour palette with it, which is the shimmer palette. So let's begin. So as the highlighter, this is the color I'm going to use, and the color is in Latest. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. This is it right there, which is just a basic matte, like off-white type of color. On the other eye, I am going to use the corresponding color off of the shimmer palette, which is this one right here, and it's called Dune. No, it's called Porcelain. Sorry, my bad. Then underneath that colors, on this eye, I am going to use as my transitional shade, let me see. I'm going to use Dune, which is this one right here. And then the corresponding color on the matte palette is, for the transitional color, I'm going to use this one right here, which is called Indwin. Since I'm already holding this palette in my hand, the next shade that I want to use is going to be Rust. That one right there. Then on the next eye, the corresponding color, it's this one right here, which is called Succubus. So the next color, now we're gonna go into the inner eye. And on this eye, I am going to use this one right here, which is called Liberatus. Then on the next eye, I am using this one right here. It's called Glacier. And then the next color next to that, I am going to use, it's called Bronze. And I'm going to blend that in together with the inner eye color just so that I can get that gradient effect and it doesn't look like I just slapped that sucker on. Ooh, a lot of fallout with that color. And the other one as well, but mostly with this one. Then the next color off of the other palette is called Solace. Before going into the last color, I'm just gonna blend that in between on both sides. And then the last color is going to go on the outer eye. From the matte palette, it's this black one right here, and it's called Shacks with an X. Then on the other eye, it's just black right here, and it's called Onyx. Alright, so now I'm just gonna clean out the edges and all of these fallouts, and then we'll come back with the final look and my thoughts on both of these palettes. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. And the lipstick that I'm wearing is actually from Line Prime. It's one of their velvet lipsticks and it's in red velvet. And for foundation, I am using the, it's a cream foundation from Killing Cosmetics. I got this at IMATS about a year ago and the color is in terracotta. If you want a full, it's oil-free. If you want a full coverage look that will give you smooth skin, this is it. It's a cream foundation and yeah, this is it. Anyway, so moving right along. So let's begin first with the Glimmer palette, then I'll go into the eye contour palette, which is the matte palette, and then I will go into a comparison of both. So first things first, so this Glimmer palette, it's actually an extension off of the Shade in Eye palette, and it retails for $48. There are 4 colors and they're all separated into quads. You have the first 3 rows here and then the additional 3 right there. And so you also get the, well, the type of amount of glimmers and shimmer does vary on each color. The top of the colors, you see that they're the bigger pans because those are supposedly the colors that you would use the most. These are supposed to be the base shades. What I found with these satin shades, they're very soft. They are also the ones that have the least amount of shimmer in it. It's just a very slight, just a hint of shimmer. You can't really notice it, but they are very, very soft. I found them easy to use. They didn't kick up a lot of color, a lot of powder, sorry about that. And then we go on into the metallic colors. And these right here, they're supposed to be the contour shades. And so the metallic colors in this palette, they're going to be the copper, the cinder, and this one right here, the rust. Those colors right there, I really did enjoy them. I only got to use these 2. The one that I used today on the video was this one, and they're very beautiful. I found them easy to use as well. They were easy to blend. I didn't have any issues with their pigmentation. And then these here are supposed to be the defining shades right here, and then we go on into these last 3 colors right here, which is Sterling, Glacier, and Quartz. Those are actually top coat shades. Now these colors right here, they're more of a translucent color, so they're best actually either used with a base underneath it, like if you use a complementary color in each one to make them pop, or perhaps maybe if you use more of like a glitter primer, just to have something to hold on to them and give them more opacity. So yeah, like I said, they are sheer. In terms of texture, it's not that bad. They feel maybe a little gritty, but like I said, those are supposed to be the metallic shades. I'm sorry, not metallic, but those are the top coat shades, and they have supposedly a special effect glimmer. I've only used them on their own. I didn't really find any special effects on them other than they were a little bit translucent, and on their own, without wetting it or using some type of like a mix and medium, I didn't see, you can't build on them. You just can't. Okay, and then moving right along, now we have the Shade and Light Contour Palette. This is also 12 shades. They're all matte. And right here, these are going to be all of your base colors. And once again, it's the same concept. So these are bigger pans. So this is supposed to be the colors that you use the most. And then you have here the contour shades. This is supposed to be Dusty Fawn, Salios, and Succubus. I don't know how the heck you pronounce those names. And then you have your defining shades, which are going to be Solace. You have Shax, and then you have Sea Tree. Then the highlighting shades, which are here, the last ones. This is going to be in Luscious. Then you have here, I don't even know how the heck you pronounce this, Liberatus. And then you have Latinus. Okay, so I know I sabotaged, if not all, on some of the names, but that's what it is. So the shimmer palette, that's actually an extension off of this palette right here. And I found them to be very, very nice colors. This one right here, I absolutely loved to work with. I mean, it was just so easy to pick up the color and just apply it on the eye. That was like the best color out of the entire palette. I also like this dark brown right here. That was also very easy to use. Now, both of these palettes, first and foremost, the matte palette, which is the light and eye contour palette, you know, it's, I don't know why, it says it has a shelf life of 12 months. And then you go into the Glimmer Palette, and that one in the back says it has a shelf life of 9 months. It also says that it's vegan. The other one doesn't say it's vegan, so I'm not sure if it is. Okay, that's one thing. Number two, this is the difference between, in terms of packaging. So the contour palette, which is the older one, which came out maybe 2-3 years ago, this is my first time I'm actually using it. It's more of a it's a cardboard with a magnetic closure, which is normally how she does the packaging for all of her palettes. And when you open it up, voila, you have a mirror, which that's always a big plus. And then you have on the Glimmer palette, on this one, it's actually plastic. And as you can see, the name, it's raised, and then her logo is in like holographic. When you open it, it also has a nice mirror there, so that's always a plus. And it snaps open and shut. And let me show you the colors on top of each other so that you can see how well they do actually complement each other. Like if you look at it, I mean, there are some that are maybe slight off a little bit, but not too much. This one is more pinkish. This one is more of a bronze. Love these two together right here. In this palette, my favorite color is gonna have to be this one. In this palette, it's the combination between this one and this one. Alright, so now off to the matte palette. The matte palette, the only complaint that I have on it is that white, well, not white, but this color right here, which is like, how can I say? This is more like a pinkish cream color, I would say, but when I applied it, it actually looks more like a gray. Looking at the palette, at first I thought it was a white, but now I'm looking at it, it's more like a pinkish cream color. But like I said, when you apply it, it translates more into like a grayish color. So I don't think it's true to what it looks like on here. The black, although it's a matte jet black, I've seen darker blacks. Yeah, I've seen darker blacks. Some of it did fade away, so that kind of sucks. But other than that, it wasn't a lot of kickback. It didn't make a mess on me, so that was a plus. That's one thing I liked about this palette. And then we have the Glimmer Palette. Now this right here, it was a mess. It was definitely a mess. I did get quite a bit of fallout, as you saw on the video. I think this one gave me the most fallout. This black right here, it's got like shimmer in it. However, when you apply it on your eyes, like, so it doesn't look like a true matte black. It definitely is lighter than this one, but you don't really see the shimmer that's in the palette. And by looking at the palette, it looks like it's got like a hint of like blue shimmer. It's really pretty. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate the same on the lid, so that was a bummer. And what else about this palette? That's really basically it. In my opinion, the contour palette, the matte palette, if you're looking for a palette that has neutrals in it, this would be a great addition, in my opinion. The price is okay. I wanted to compare it to the Sonia Kashuk palette. So this is the Sonia Kashuk palette. And it also has 12 shades, just like the Kat Von D contour palette. And yes, I know, as I stated, the pans are way smaller than the Kat Von D. But as I mentioned earlier, you know how hard it is to hit pan when you have so much makeup? And even if you're a person that doesn't own a lot of makeup, unless you're like wearing it really hard every day, it's still hard to hit pan. I've yet, in all the years of doing makeup, hit pan, unless you just have that only one palette, and you are using it extensively. So yeah, I would pass if you don't need it. Another one that I would want to compare it to is the Morphe, and this one is in 12 NB, and I'm going to hold it carefully because the pans, I guess they weren't well glued together to the palette, and some of them are falling out. I'm gonna have to crazy glue them. Here's another one. This is like 15 bucks. It also has 12 colors, but like this one is definitely a little bit much closer to this one, as you can see, and it's cheaper. And this Morphe palette right here is so good. I like it better in terms of quality than the Sonia Kashuk. This one right here is so good. The only thing it's missing is a black, but I mean, number one, you rarely wear black. Number two, you can always buy an individual black. Number three, if you have a lot of other palettes, I'm pretty sure you have a black, you know. But this Glimmer palette, I'm gonna return it, simply because, once again, another palette that just didn't wow me. Not that it's bad, it didn't wow me. I had a lot of fallout with it, and I'm not crazy about all glimmer eyeshadows in one entire collection. This is why I didn't purchase the Rihanna, the Fenty, the eyeshadow palette. I mean, they're meant mostly to wear at, these are more like complementary palettes, you know, that you would use hand in hand with a matte palette versus palette that is all matte. It looks better when you wear all the colors together. And so yeah, so this was going back. So once again, that's my 2 cents on it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review and my tutorial on it. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And guys, sharing is caring. Share the video with your friends, okay? And once again, don't forget to unleash that makeup pour inside of you. Ciao, guys.